Hello everyone, I am Anantrupa Roy and we all at Infosec Cyber Labs welcome you to today's workshop. Infosec, Infosec is a very broad field ranging from web security, pawning, cryptology, cryptography, forensics, etc. We all have prepared some presentations to give you an overview of the basics. So sit tight and buckle your seatbelts because it is going to be one hell of a ride. The first thing which we will be discussing is networking. So, one of the very first questions when we think about networking is what is an IP? So, Internet Protocol is the full form of IP and it is a set of rules which governs the data which is sent via internet or local network. IP address is a unique address that is given to each device connected to a network. So each device has a distinct IP address. IP can be of two types. IPv4, which is written in decimal notation and consists of four sets of numbers, and IPv6, which is written in hexadecimal notation and is written in six sets of numbers. Now, a common site from which we can check our public IPv4 address is this one. What is my IP.com? So here you can see that my public IPv4 address is this 103.27.2.23. It also shows my location and my brand of ISP. Now on Linux, which we will use a lot, so there is this command on the terminal which can help you find out the IP address, which is ifconfig. So here you can see it is showing my docker 0 eth0 loopback address, but the most important here is eth0. This is showing my Ethernet IP address, which is 192.168.238.129. The next thing comes. The next thing which comes is the OSI model. So the OSI model stands for the Open Systems Interconnection Model. It is basically a concept to visualize how networks work or how we connect to the internet. Each layer of the OSI model handles a specific job and communicates with the layers above and below itself. It consists of 7 abstract layers. These layers we can study and identify where it is causing latency or any other such trouble. Thus, it can help us troubleshoot how we connect to the network. This is basically the OSI model. It consists of 7 layers: the application layer, the presentation layer, the session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and the physical layer. So, we will be discussing some of the more important ones of these layers. So, first comes the application layer. This is, mind you, and this is the only layer which directly interacts with data from the user through software applications such as web browsers, mail servers, etc. Next comes the presentation layer. It prepares data to be sent to the application layer. All the encryption, translation, compression of data takes place in this layer. Next comes the session layer. The session layer establishes a network, like a communication between two devices, the receiving device and the sending device. It takes the data from the sending device, breaks it into packets of data called chunks, and then sends it on its way to the receiving device. Then comes, we will be discussing the data link layer. The data link layer helps in data transfer between two different devices, the sending device and the receiving device on a network. And then comes the physical layer. The physical layer includes all the physical equipment involved in the data transfer, such as wires, cables, switches, etc. This is the layer where the data which we send is converted into a byte stream consisting of zeros and ones. So on I'll be showing you uh, this on Wireshark. Wireshark is an open source utility which can be used to analyze packets of data which is received or sent by our device. So here I'll be listening to the ETH0 IP address because I'm connected to the internet. In case you all are on wireless, you all will be using some there'll be another option showing for the wireless one and you will be using that. So if I'm using ETH0, you can see, and I'm going to search something. Let's oh my god, YouTube is already open, but never mind, I'm just going to open this. And you can see so many packets are appearing as soon as I send the request for youtube.com. So you can see, I'm going to stop this capture. First it is resolving the IP address of YouTube, which is this, and then it is sending the request to youtube.com. Here you can see that all these TCP packets, TLS packets, all these are there. It is also showing the source IP and the destination IP, the time, and everything. So I'm going to just double click to show the finer details of a packet. Here I just opened this TCP stream, this highlighted one, and you can see this is the data, encoded data, which we are actually sending. This is the actual data which is being sent. This one is the data link layer, which you can see is sending 54 bytes on, it is sending it through wire, and it is through ETH0 interface showing my ID. It is showing my encapsulation type, arrival time, epoch time, and other such details. Then comes the network layer. This is my Ethernet. It is showing my Ethernet source, which is VMware, then this IP address, destination, this one, and type, which is IPv4. It also shows the internet. I'm using Internet Protocol version 4, the source and destination, the length, all these things. You can see the time to live, protocol, header checksum, all these things it is showing. Then also the transmission control protocol, the source port, destination port, and all these things. So we can use these to troubleshoot where we are facing any latency or other such errors while connecting through the internet. We can also use this to analyze packet capture data, like data which has been captured from earlier, and we can use it to gain access on the information which is stored in the packet. One command on Windows is this, tracer. We use it like this, tracer and then website name such as tracer www.google.com. So you can see it is saying that it is tracing route to www.google.com. This is the Google IP. So it actually shows the actual path taken by the data in order to connect to the network. So first you can see it is going through my router. My internet is a bit slow, I'm sorry for that. So you can see my router here and the time taken, all these things, and the IPs also you can see. So in this way it goes from one source to the next destination, and there it awaits the next set of instructions. Then it hops on to the next place. So I'm just going to keep it running in the background because my internet is a bit slow, so I hope it will be done by the time. Next comes ports. What is a port? In networking, each logical connection through which we connect to a network is called a port. They determine the service through which data transfer occurs and the type of data which is being sent. The top 1001 ports are called reserved ports. Some common ports are port 20 for FTP, port 22 for SSH, port 53 for DNS, port 80 for World Wide Web HTTP. I hope you have seen these packets in the Wireshark capture I just showed you. For example, there's TCP, there's DNS which is resolving the IP of youtube.com and all these things. So next comes port scanning. Now, ports, the services which run behind ports, are vulnerable to different cybersecurity attacks, such as anonymous authentication, directory traversal, etc., and can be used to gain sensitive information on a machine. So, we often have to find out if a machine is secure enough or it will be easily exploited using these means. Often, when we are given a machine for this thing, the first thing we do is port scanning. Through port scanning, we can determine the number of ports which are open, closed, and filtered, and find out the basic information and possible vulnerabilities that can be exploited to compromise the security of the system. A very common tool for port scanning on Linux is Nmap. Here you can see I'm just going to run an Nmap. I'm going to clear the screen first, and I'm going to run an Nmap scan on my local host. So, what is localhost? Localhost is basically the loopback address of our device. On a network, we are generally communicating with another device, but on localhost is basically our own computer is sending the data and it is being received by our computer itself. Here you can see when I scan the local host, it is saying that all 1000 ports, it is only scanning the top 1000 ports. It is closed. So let's just open up some services real quick. So I'm just going to I'm going to start my SSH service, which is on port 22. And I'm also going to be starting a Python HTTP server on port 80. So now if I scan the localhost again, you can see that it is showing that 82 and 22 and 80 ports are open. It is also showing the service. Now you can get more information from Nmap if you use other tags or other variations of the command. For now, I'm just using simple Nmap and then IP, which is going to scan only the top 1000 ports, and it is only going to show you which ports are open. So this is how we find out if which ports are open, which ports are closed, and we can also get different information about the various exploits we can use in order to gain access on a remote machine. So now I'll be handing over the stream to my friend Ronak Ghaznani.
Hmm. Hey everyone, I'm Ronak Asnani from Cyberlab's Infosec division. Today we are going to talk about what is Google hacking. So there is a very famous saying among hackers. If you can't find something on Google, then probably you don't know how to. So let's discuss the contents of today's presentation. So we are going to talk about four major points, four major topics. What is Google hacking? Some basic operators. Then we'll be moving on the discussion towards some advanced operators. And at the end of the session, we are going to do something very cool, which I cannot disclose right now. So let's jump right into it. What is Google hacking? So Google hacking is just a fancy term for Google dorking. So don't worry, we are not going to hack into Google servers right now. Google dorking can be summed up into 3 points. So you must be wondering, what is Google dorking? So Google dorking is nothing but using different operators to optimize search results. Then what is the use of Google docking? Well, it can be used to identify vulnerable websites and vulnerabilities in websites. Mind you, there is a small difference: vulnerable websites and vulnerabilities in websites. And ultimately, the ultimate objective of Google docking is we can optimize the results with extreme precision. So let's jump right into it. What is actually Google dorking? So let's discuss some basic operators. We have seven basic operators: the quotes operator, the asterisk operator, the and operator, the or operator, the double dot operator, and the exclusion operator. So let's discuss them one by one. Beginning with the quotes operator. What is the quotes operator? So it is used to get an exact match of a phrase or a word. So suppose if you Google in quotes IIT ISM Dhanbad, then what does that return? It returns only those results having IIT ISM Dhanbad in it. Moving on, the asterisk operator. What is the asterisk operator? It behaves like a wildcard entry. So if you Google IIT asterisk Dhanbad, then the asterisk would be replaced by some result. Suppose there is a website which has IIT Apple Dhanbad written in it. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but let's assume in a hypothetical situation. So the star would be replaced by the apple. So let's actually try these out. So suppose if you Google IIT ISM Dhanbad in quotes, the results will have IIT ISM Dhanbad in it. See over here, IIT ISM Dhanbad is in bold because we have put it in quotes. Again, IIT ISM Dhanbad is in bold. Same over here. So all the results that you have will contain this following string. Now suppose if you replace ISM by an asterisk, which was our wildcard operator. So you see over here, the wildcard was replaced by in brackets ISM. Again, it was replaced by in brackets ISM. So all the results, they'll have something IIT, then something, and then Dhanbad. So moving on to the next operator, the AND operator. The AND operator needs to be in all caps, capital A, capital N, capital D. So what it does is it searches for results that have both the words. So suppose if you want to list all those websites that have the word cat and the word dog in it, then what you can do is you can search cat, capital and then dog. Then all the results will have both cat and dog in it. Then comes the or operator. Well, it's just like the boolean or. At least if there is at least one of those words, then the result will return. Moving on to the pipe operator, the next symbol, that's the pipe symbol. So the pipe symbol is the exact same as the or symbol. So what you can do is if your caps lock is broken and you can't use the or, then you can use the pipe. So let's try these out. So suppose if you Google cat and dog, well then all the results will have both cat and dog in it. See over here again, cat and dog both. Similarly, if we move on, we have cat, we have dog, again cat, dog. Similarly, this also has cat and dog, dog, cat. So all the results will have both the words cat and dog in it. Now, suppose if you use the or operator using the pipe symbol, then you can see the results will either have cat or dog, but not both. See this website? Okay, it's the cat exam website. So we have the cat exam website over here. Then the dog, there is only dog over here. There's only cat. So moving on to the next, the double dot operator. Now suppose you want to find out the placements of some IIT from 2015 to 2022. One way to do that is you search IIT placements 2015, 2016, 2017. Alternatively, what you can do is you can write 2015 double dot 2022. So it will replace the whole range. Like it's like either of those numbers: 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and so on. Moving on to the last basic operator, the exclusion, the minus symbol. So it is used to exclude terms from the search result. So suppose you want to find dog breeds excluding the breed Labrador, well then you could simply Google dog breeds minus Labrador. So the results will not have the word Labrador in them. So let's try these as well. So IIT placements 2016 to 2022. So let's have a look. So we have this was replaced by 2021 over here. Similarly, if you look at it, it was replaced again by 2021. See, we have some results from 2022 as well. And probably if we go down some pages, we'll have 2016 as well. And moving on to the last operator that we just discussed, the exclusion operator. So if you search dog breeds minus Labrador, well, then all the results will not have the word Labrador in them. So suppose if you open this websites, for example, then it will not have the word Labrador in it. So you can find all those dog breeds that don't have Labrador. So these were some basic operators. Moving on, we have over here we have 5 advanced operators. So the syntax to use the advanced operators is very simple. What you need to do is you need to write the operator, then colon, and then the search term. Remember, there are no spaces before and after the colon. So it's going to be the operator, colon, and then the search term. So the ultimate use of advanced operators is we can like optimize the search results in an advanced fashion. So suppose if you want all those websites whose titles have admin login in it, well, what you could simply do is you could use the in title advanced operator and write in title quote admin login. So this would return all the websites whose titles have admin login in it. So let's check it out. So in title admin login. See, this website has admin login. Again, in the title, we have admin login. All these websites have admin. Okay, we have a website. It's from the Bits Pilani. We also have their admin panel. So we can just find the links using this. So using the in title, you can find all those sites having that specific title. Moving on, we have the in URL operator. So from the name, it's very obvious. The URL should contain this. So the results have that specified string in its URL. So suppose if you Google in URL news.php question mark ID equals. So what would that give you? It would give you all those websites having news.php question mark ID equals in their URL. So suppose we Google this news.php question mark ID equals. So see, this website has in its URL news.php question mark ID equals. Again, news.php question mark ID equals. So you can use it to filter on the basis of URLs. Now, suppose in college or probably somewhere you are studying the subject of cryptography and you need to find all books and PDF material that you can find on the internet. So what you can do is you could use the file type operator. So from the name, it's obvious. It will return all the file types of the following file type. So if you Google file type PDF in quotes cryptography, then all the results will be of the type PDF, and because and there'll be books of cryptography. So let's basically try it out. See, this is again a PDF result. Again, we have a PDF file. All these are PDF files only. There will be no other results other than PDF file. Moving on, the in-text operator. So it returns results with the specified string in its content. So this is very similar to the quotes operator. In fact, it's actually the same. So if you need to find some specific string in content, then you could use in-text operator. Moving on, the cite operator. Now suppose you want to find the results of only a specific website, then you can use the cite operator. So suppose if you Google cite cyberlabs.club. For those of you who don't know, this is the official website of Cyberlabs. So see, all the results are from the website cyberlabs.club, all of them. Now suppose there is this URL cp.cyberlabs.club. So if you want to learn competitive programming and you need to find all the results of this, what you can do is you could simply write site cp cyberlabs.club. So what that will do is that will return all the results of this specific domain, subdomain cp.cyberlabs.club. See, we have 3 pages of results. All of them are from cp.cyberlabs.club. So these were the basic and advanced operators. You might have all been bored by this, but don't worry. We are gonna move to something very interesting, which will try to merge all these concepts and do something very realistic. So let's improvise. What we can do is we can mix operators to optimize the search results even more. Suppose I want to find all results from vulnerablewebsite.com and the title must have index of. So we could simply write this dork. It's a mixture of 2 advanced operators, the cite operator and the in title operator. So what this will do is this will return all those pages from vulnerablewebsite.com having the title index of. Then suppose if you want to find passwords, well, what you could simply write is in URL FTP and that means the URL must have FTP in it. Then you could write in quotes password. That means the text must have password in it. And file type, you could search XLSX. So all Excel sheets will be displayed. Only Excel sheets would be displayed. Now, suppose you write MySQL dump, file type SQL, in text password, then the file type will be SQL. SQL is a special database file, and the results will have MySQL dump in it, and the text will contain the word password in it. So, but this was all theory, right? Let's try to apply this, and let's try to do something real. So, what we are going to do is we are going to hack cameras. So, suppose there is a vulnerable application which has the following features. There is only one feature here. Its URL contains slash access tag CGI slash mjpeg slash video.cgi. So what I want from you guys is you all need to write a dork to find all those websites whose URL contains slash access tag CGI slash mjpeg slash video.cgi. So put your answers in the live chat. I'll be looking at the live chat, and we'll wait for some time while you guys write this dork. You need to find all those websites whose URL contains this following string slash access CGI slash mjpeg slash video CGI. So I'll be opening the chat. What you all can do, you can refer to the advanced operator slides. One of these 5 operators is what you need. You need to find all those websites having this specific string in its URL slash access tag CGI slash mjpeg slash video.cgi. You all can refer to the advanced operator slide. Yes, Aditya Yuan, you are very close. But we need this whole string in its URL slash access tag CGI slash mjpeg slash video.cgi. Yes, Deeman Dikshit, you are absolutely correct. You just forgot the colon after the in URL operator. The syntax to use the operator is operator colon search term, and you don't need to add any spaces. So see, in URL colon news.php question mark id equals. Yes, Arghya Das, you are absolutely correct. So guys, so the answer to the question is in URL colon slash access tag CGI slash mjpeg slash video.cgi. Simple, right? We just use the in URL advanced operator that we just studied about. So what this does is it returns all those websites whose URL contain this following string, which is this slash access CGI string. So let's just try it out. What does this string actually do? Let me just try it out. So we have our search results, and all these results contain the following string in its URL. So let's open a few of them. Um, okay, so this is a live feed. Probably seems like some chemical factory, and we have a live feed from there. It's a moving camera, and this seems like some chemical factory. Let's move on and let's see what we have over here. Okay, so we have a live feed. It's the 29th today, right? Yeah, so we have a live feed from somewhere where it's 9 a.m. over there. Okay, so it's the website of University of Iowa. Yes, uiowa.edu, and we can see cars moving on the road. Moving on to the next stream. Okay, so we have a again a live feed from the 29th. It's someplace Konin Zatorze, and you can see buildings, and the camera is probably panning. Over here we have a live feed from Aqua Tower Burdorf. Over here we have a live feed from some place called the Eleutheria Square. Let's just look where that is. Eleutheria Square location. So this no this What was the spelling? Eleutherius. Yeah, so this is some place. Hmm. Probably you all can find out what this place is using Google Dorking. That's a task for you. We again have a live feed. This probably seems some like a dog park from PETA. Over here we have something called Kaha Northview. It's the 29th. It's 3 p.m. there. And now we have a stream from Purdue. Yes, Purdue Edu, Purdue Engineering Mall. So we have a live feed. We can see someone is moving down on the road. So let's not just disturb him. And what you all can do is you all can do this. All you need to do is you need to simply open google.com and type the dot that we just discussed about. So you all can find live feeds of cameras. Yes, Himanshu, you are absolutely correct. We are actually watching live CCTV cameras that are available to the internet. You all can do later after the stream is, or probably right now, we'll be taking a short break. You all can search this specific doc and access some cameras yourself. I also have a task for you all. We'll be taking a break for 2 or 3 minutes. The task is you need to write a doc to find all websites having the following features. The domain of the website should be .com.pk, and the link, the URL, should contain project underscore detail.php question mark id equals. So write the doc in the chat box. We'll be taking a short break for 2 minutes. So you have this task that you need to complete and write the doc in the chat box. Hey everyone, I am back. So Argya Das asked in the chat, isn't this illegal to access random CCTVs around the world? Argya Das, actually, these cameras are publicly made available to the world over the internet. And what we are doing is we are just finding the endpoints to access those cameras. The passionate guy, you could just right click on the link and use the open in multiple tabs. So we are just accessing the live feeds that are available to the the internet, that are open to the internet. So guys, you all had a task, right? You had to write a doc having the domain .com.pk, and the link should contain project underscore detail.php question mark id equals. So I'll be having a look at the chats. You could all just write your docs over there. Makingly, you are actually partly correct. The in URL tag that you have written is correct, but the file type, I'm afraid that would not be used. The file type is used to search for specific files. We need to find websites, actually domains and subdomains. That's a very big hint. We need to find the domains and the subdomain. The domain should be .com.pk. Let's go back and have a look at the advanced operator slides. So the domain should be .com.pk. So one of these operators is going to do the job for us. Rajudal, you can also write partial domains. Like if you want to search for all websites ending with .club, you could simply search site colon .club. Yes, Abhinav, you are right. I'm afraid you forgot to write a space after .com.pk. Yes, but you are absolutely correct. The dork is site.com.pk. Let me just close the chat. Site.com.pk, and in URL project underscore detail.php question mark id equals. So let's break this down. What does this mean? Well, site.com.pk means we need to return all websites having the domain .com.pk. And the in URL project underscore detail.php question mark id equals means we need to return all websites having this specific string in their URL. So the ultimate dork, it's a combination of both, right? Remember, we can mix operators. So we use two advanced operators to reduce our query to this simple string, which is site.com.pk in URL project underscore detail.php question mark id equals. So you must all be wondering, why did we write this dork? Like, what is the reason? Let's try it out. So suppose if we Google site.com.pk in URL project underscore detail.php question mark id equals. So we get a website which is Taj Residencia KB Marketing. Yeah. So so this is an extension called Hagbar. I'll be using it because it's actually convenient. So what we are going to do is we are going to pass a single quote after this 38, like id equals 38 and then a single quote. So what this does is, see, there was no record found. So it errored out. Something errored out when we did 38 and a single quote. So why did it error out? Let me just explain to you what we are trying to achieve over here. So we'll be talking about SQL injection. So what is SQL injection? Well, SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with queries that an application makes to its database. So what can we achieve with SQL injection? Well, the attacker can modify or delete the data, causing persistent changes to the application's behavior. In some situations, you could also escalate the SQL injection to compromise the whole server. SQL injection is a very critical vulnerability. It's like one of the top vulnerabilities. If you find it on any websites, it's extremely critical. So over there, you can see that when we enter a single code, the query errors out. So this is a hint that this site could be vulnerable to SQL injection. It's not necessary, but it could be vulnerable to SQL injection. So let me just try to explain to you what we are trying to do. So suppose there is a query, like I'll be giving you a brief overview of some SQL database. So suppose there is a query that's select star from fruits where name is in quotes apple. So what this does is it returns all those, like basically it returns all those columns having name equals apple in it. So all those entries where name is apple in it. So over the apple, that's where our input goes. So suppose if you just send your input as a single quote and you close the query, well, then you could cause an error. So that's actually what happened over here. When we sent a single quote, the query errored out, and uh, it shows record not found. So let me just try to fix this query and let's see if it's vulnerable to SQL injection. So we'll be using the order by tag, which I'll be explaining to you shortly. See, the website again returned the result, which implies that we sent a query, we made it incorrect, and then we fixed it ourselves, and then the website started working. So that means our query was actually injected. So what is SQL injection? Well, SQL injection, in SQL injection, what we do is we manipulate the query that actually goes to the database. So hacker identifies a website that might be vulnerable to SQL injection. We send a malicious query to the database, and the database executes the query, granting us access to the whole uh, to the records of the database. So we just use the order by keyword. So you must all be wondering, what is actually order by? Now, suppose when you select star from fruits where name is apple, it returned the product number, the price, and it was returning a few columns. Well, what we can do is we can sort on the basis of columns. So we can sort on the basis of column number one. We could sort on the basis of column number two. We could sort on the basis of column number three. So order by basically means ordering by on a ordering by, that is ascending or descending order on the basic column. So suppose if you write order by one, so what does this mean? It means sort it in ascending order on the basis of column number one. Now if we do order by two, that means sort on the basis of column number two. If we do sort on the basis of column number three, by order by three. Similarly, we can do order by four. Let's try out five. So I don't know what happened. It stopped executing. Let me just open it again. Huh. I guess I have some technical internet issue. Let me just fix it. .com.pk. Yeah, it started working. So so we had written order by five. So let's execute it. It again started working. Now let's try order by six. It executed. Now let's try order by seven. Okay, so it errored out. So what does that mean? It means that the vulnerable website was returning only six columns. And when we tried to sort it by the seventh column, it errored out because there was no seventh column. So now we know that there are six columns. So moving on to the next part of the presentation. Now suppose what we actually did was there was some query. We closed the quotes by sending a quote operator. Then we used order by over here. So this was basically our malicious input. And then at the end, we used dash dash space dash, which commented the rest of the query. So dash dash space dash is used to comment the rest of the query. So the original code that was meant to be here was commented out. It became irrelevant. So let's try to escalate from here. We now know that there are six columns. So what we can do is we could use the union. This union is the same as what you all had studied back in 12th. It's basically union of two sets. So what we can do is we could take union of two queries. So the union operator is used to combine the result set of two or more select statements. So what we could do is select stars from fruits where name is apple, union it with select username comma password from users. So what does this mean? We are basically selecting the username password from the table users stored in the database. So let's try it out. So what we can do is we could just write union select 1 2 3 4 5 6. So there were six vulnerable columns and we tried to take a union with 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this gave us an error, a 403 forbidden. So what does this mean? Well, the website detected that we are trying to hack it. So there is a concept called the WAF. The WAF basically stands for the Web Application Firewall. So suppose you are a normal user and you are sending normal requests. Well, then your request goes through the WAF, and then if the WAF approves it, it goes to the server. Now, if it feels that any request is malicious, then it simply blocks the request and it is not sent to the destination server. So the WAF can protect you from attacks. Basically, it filters and monitors all the traffic between the server and the internet. So what we can do is we could try to bypass this WAF. Let's see how smart is this WAF. Let's write union in all caps. So okay, it again detected us. Let's try to replace union by some other keyword, ABCD. Okay, I guess my internet is acting up. Let's give it some time. tvmarketing.com.pk. Pardon me for my bad internet. Firefox again. Okay, so the WAF actually detected us. It detected unusual activity from my IP address and is trying to confirm whether I'm not a robot. So these were the stairs. Yeah, so we are back in. So what were we trying to do? We were trying to select all the columns on the basis of using the union select. There were 6 columns, and the WAF detected us over here. So we tried varying the union, but that didn't work. So what I've done is I've written a special payload to basically bypass this WAF. So we are trying to hide the union select, and the WAF will not be able to detect it. So let's just try it out. Suppose we enter any arbitrary number over here, and we replace this union select by a specially crafted payload. See, over here you can see two reflected in the title. So what happened was we made a query to something which whose ID was 1008 that returned nothing. Then we did a select with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we did union of both. So this query 1008 returned nothing. The right side query returned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we made a union. So nothing union with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What does that give us? It gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, as you can see in the title of the page, you can see 2 written over here. So let's have a look at the title. So the title contains 2. The description tag contains 4, and the keywords tag contains 5. So that's where our payload is being reflected. So let's try to print the version of the database that they are using. See over here you can see that in the title the version is reflected now, the 5.7.36 CLL LVE. And we had 5 as well, right? And 4 as well. So let's try to find the database name that they are using. And simultaneously, okay, let's actually check this out. Title. See, the database name has been reflected over here instead of the 4. It's XCD corner KB marketing. So we have the database name as well. Now let's suppose we try to find the user. Well, again, let's see. Okay, so we have the user as well, XCD corner KBMT at localhost. So we have the name of the database, the version that they are using, as well as the user. Now, guys, this is going to be a bummer because it would be against ethical conduct to proceed any further. So, being an ethical hacker, our primary objective should be to only identify and assess vulnerabilities. So we should just stop at this moment now that we know that this site is vulnerable to SQL injection. So you might have all been overwhelmed by this, but don't worry, you will get it all in due time. So I was just trying to give you a demo of what is SQL injection. It's a vulnerability which is very, very severe. We talked about what are order by keywords, union keywords, and how queries actually work and how you could find if a site is vulnerable to SQL injection. We talked about WAF, which stands for Web Application Firewall, and how it tries to prevent malicious traffic. And then we concluded with a WAF bypass payload. And remember, uh, your your primary objective should be to only identify and assess security vulnerabilities, nothing more than that. Hope you all learned something. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Shreyanshin and I am going to be continuing the session. Now we'll be proceeding with something not related to cybersecurity in general, but something specific to our club, and that is our Discord server. All the communications in the Infosec division happen through Discord. So for those of you who are new to Discord, I'll be giving a quick overview of everything you will be needing. At first, what's Discord? Discord is a chatting application just like a WhatsApp or Telegram, but it's much more powerful. It's available on all operating systems, both mobile and desktop, and can be accessed through your browser too. Now, why did we choose Discord? Because it's a better option, and a majority of the InfoSec community is on Discord. So, to begin with it, we first go to discord.com and register an account. I've already created an account, so I can just log in here. And once you log in, you will see a screen like this. Like WhatsApp, Discord supports two types of chats. One is in a group and one as a personal DM. In Discord, we call the groups servers. And to join a server, you'll need its invite link. Infosec division also has their own Discord server, and the invite link will be in the live chat soon. As you can see, I have some direct messages over here, and in the leftmost bar, you can see that there are some icons. These are the different servers that have joined, and I can navigate between them through this bar. So let me find the Infosec Cyber Labs one here. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, we have a lot of what we can call channels. Now, a channel is something you can think of like a separate chat inside a Discord server. A Discord server can have multiple channels. Each channel is meant for a specific topic so that everything stays organized in the server. As I mentioned, you can see a list of channels here, like general support, etc. As you can see, these are text messages. So this is a text channel. Discord also supports another type of channel that is a voice channel, which is like a Google Meet inside Discord. I can show you one, like we have sysadmin where we are all coordinating with everything, and very long lounge where I am sitting here. You can turn on your camera, share your screen, or just talk with people. Yeah. Okay. So once we go to a text channel, on the rightmost side, you can see that we can also view the online and offline users that are present in the channel at that moment. So, for example, we have Maserati and Naughty Boy, which are the pre-final years and the final years. As you can see, we have the root role over here, and Discord allows you to give users role in the Discord server so that we can categorize them. We have the root role for the pre-final and final years of the club, the moderator and the sysadmin for the sophomores of the club, and we have dub data for the freshers. Okay, so moving on, there's a concept called permissions in Discord. In Discord, we can allow members to access some channels with some specific restrictions, like announcements. You cannot send a message here because the moderators have banned it from, restricted you from sending it. So if you see something weird, just don't panic. It's the moderators doing some stuff. Okay. Okay, so that was a basic overview of Discord. Now let's move on to something more specific to our server. As mentioned earlier, all the club activities and the communication of the Infosec division happen through Discord. It's going to be the hub of your learning during and after the recruitment. So you need to join it for sure. We also have two sets of war games for you guys. A war game is basically a set of challenges meant to provide you with hands-on experience and knowledge in a particular topic. So I can just browse here and you can see the first war game is Unix It. We have a lot of channels for it. Each level has a different channel. So let's talk about it first. Unix It is a set of 20 challenges and it is based on teaching you the Linux operating system. Nowadays, if you're in the tech industry, either as a developer or a cybersecurity enthusiast, Linux is the most essential tool that you can have. There are even distributions of Linux which exist entirely for cybersecurity, like this one, Kali. So Unix it will teach you how to operate in Linux, basics of Bash, and different concepts like the file system, permissions, cron jobs, and much more. It will take you from the very basics of Linux to the level that you can effortlessly use Linux in your daily life without any problems. And the next wargame that we have is OSWAP. Now, OSWAP is a set of 25 challenges aimed at giving you all the basic knowledge of web application pen testing and the different vulnerabilities we have in web apps, ranging from simple development errors to SQL injections to unrestricted file uploads and much more. The website you saw earlier getting hacked, the KB marketing one, many of you might not have understood everything, or some of it might seem difficult. After solving OSWAP, that would be a piece of cake for you. Completing both of these challenges is the minimum requirement for your recruitment. We recommend that you start with Unixit because at a later stage in OSWAP, you will require some Linux knowledge, mostly because the OSWAP challenges are hosted on Linux servers. Okay, so enough of the explanation. Now let me show you how to get started with these challenges. I'll be just closing this and I'll be using a different account which I created for this purpose so that you can see everything from the eyes of what you will see when you are in the server. Okay, so we'll start with Unix set because it's going to be the first part that you do. and the first level is always a level 0. So the most important thing in Unix it is that it teaches you Linux, but you can complete the challenges in either Windows, Linux, or Mac. I'll be using a PowerShell because I'm on Windows right now, but you can use any other alternative on or whichever you have access to. Okay, so to start, you come to this Unix channel of the particular challenge and take a look at this thing here. Let me just maximize it. Yeah. So every challenge has a description. This description consists of a prompt, that is connect and learn new things, some connection details like unixit.ml as level 0, and some helpful binaries. Okay, so seeing this, we can infer that we need to connect to unixit.ml as level 0, right? We can infer that. So, but the thing is that how do we connect? We need more clarity. So what we do is we take a look at the helpful binaries. Since this is the first challenge, I'll let you know that only SSH will be needed in this challenge. Now, before we proceed, let's see how many of you guys already know about it. Type in the chat whatever you know about the SSH thing, or just the full form if you know that. Yes, Raj. Yeah, you're correct. You're getting it. Yeah. I hope the Discord server link is shared in the chat. If not, it will be shared soon. Hussein, yeah, you close, but not too close. Okay, so let's proceed. SSH stands for Secure Shell, and SSH is a protocol which helps you securely control a remote machine like a server. It will become more clear once we try it, okay? So, so we come to PowerShell, and to connect to the host, that is unixit.ml, we use SSH, and to do that, you can use SSH command, and the syntax of the command is like this: SSH space username at the rate hostname. Okay, so in this case, like we have to authenticate as level 0. So our username is supposed to be level 0, and we put an at the rate and unixkit.ml. Fine. Now we just hit enter, and we got some text, right? Let's read it. Hi guys, welcome to Unixit. Here is your bonus flag. Okay, we got a flag now. I hope you enjoy, and we got a permission denied. Okay, so we can't connect to SSH because we have permission denied here, but we got a flag. Now, what's a flag? A flag is a token that acts as a proof that you have completed a particular challenge. So now I have a flag. I can show others that, yeah, I have completed the challenge. Once you have completed the challenge, what you need to do is you have to submit the flag. So to submit it, you just come to the channel, hit slash submit, and something will come here. And you fill this, like we are on the wargame Unix set, we are on level 0, and you paste the flag. And once you do that, if the flag is correct, an amazing message will come. And as you can see, Unix at 0 has gone, and I can't access it more. I have been transferred to Unix at 1, which is the next level of the challenge. Okay, so in this level 0, we didn't get to use the remote access feature of SSH. So let's try to do that in level 1. In a similar fashion, we can do that. Uh, it's not mentioned here, but it's uh, obvious that we have to put level 1 here. Okay, so now it asks for password. Luckily, we have a password in here, and we can just paste it. Okay, just a sec. Okay, so we are having a lot of stuff. You can ignore it for now, but the most important thing is this dollar sign. What this dollar sign indicates that you have a Linux terminal. It is an indicator of that, you can say. Okay, so now what I once we have in the SSH thing, SSH shell, whatever we type here, actually goes to the remote server, the remote Unix server, and gets executed there. So if I type something like SSH, it will go there and get executed. And our servers, Unix servers, are Linux servers. So basically, what I'm trying to tell that I can execute any Linux command from my PowerShell, even though I'm not on Linux. Isn't that cool? Okay, so let's take a look at the helper binaries. We have cd, ls, and cat. So I'm not going to be telling you everything about them right now. You have to do that on your own when you come to the server and do the stuff. But I'll tell you just about one just command, that is the manual page command. And what it is basically it gives you access to the manual page of a particular feature or command of Linux. Linux has this amazing feature where everything is documented and for the developers and for the users so that you can, it's easy for you to understand what's happening. So to access the man page, what you do is man space SSH. Like we use the SSH command, right? So we can put any other command over here like cd or ls. We use the SSH command, so we put SSH to read more about it, let's say. And as you can see, we have SSH name, open SSH remote login client, and a lot of stuff here. Like you can read it all, and that's what we recommend. Whenever you find a new helpful binary, either in the challenges or in the internet, just go and read the man page. It gives you complete information about that particular command. Okay, so once you have done that, we can just hit Q and it will exit out of it. Now, for this, I'm not going to be proceeding with the explaining the challenge, but for the sake of completion, I will just complete it. If you didn't get to know, if you didn't understand what I did, just leave it. You read the man pages and you will get everything. Now I can submit the flag, and amazing, I've completed the challenge. So this was all for this part of the session. Now I'll be handing over the session to Himanshu Das for continuing. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Himanshu and I'll be talking about encoding and hashing. These two are just ways to represent and protect data. We'll see what they are in detail right now. So let's start with encoding. Encoding is the process of converting data from one form to another. This is required because sometimes data is needed in a particular format and we don't have data in that format. In these cases, we encode our data so that it matches the format being asked. Also, encoding is completely reversible. Let's talk about a few encoding methods. The first being hex or base 16 encoding. Anybody here knows about hexadecimals? Please type yes or plus plus in the chat box. Hexadecimal numbers. Okay. Okay, so a lot of you know. Okay, that's nice. So we'll continue. So hexadecimal is basically a number system which uses 16 symbols, that is the numbers 0 to 9 and the letters A to F. And this is also the reason why it is called base 16 because it uses 16 symbols. The numbers which we use in day-to-day life, like the numbers which like 0, 1, 100, 200 and so on, these are decimal numbers. Why? Because what do we use? 0, 1, 2, 5, 6. Using these 10 symbols, you can write every number. So the decimal system uses these 10 numbers. Hence, it is base 10. Moving on. Let's see how we can encode a text to hex. Anyone here is familiar about ASCII, ASCII? The ASCII encoding? Please type yes in the chat box. Okay, RMB, that's good. Okay, so ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It is the most common character encoding format for text data in computers and on the internet. In that, each and every character is represented by a decimal number. You can view the ASCII table by typing this command on your Linux terminal, man ASCII. So yes, this gave me the ASCII table. As you can see, each and every character here, like let's say the character A in ASCII, it's 65 in decimal, and we also have the hex representation of this. The character W is 87, and so on. So let's now see, we need to convert this string to hex. So what we will do? Firstly, we'll find out each character of the string. Like this string has a total of 5 characters, H, E, L, and O. So we'll take the first character and then we'll find out the hex representation of this. I'll use this table. It was small h. Small h is right here. That's 68 in hex. So first would be 68. Then it's small e, which is 65. Next are two small l's. L is 6c. I wrote it two times because we had two l's. And then there's the O, small o, which is 6f, right? So this is basically this string converted to hex. Now, well, in real life, you'll see a lot of bigger strings, and you'll obviously not take out the ASCII table and do this manually each and every time. So you can use the terminal for this. I'll type in the command. Let me give you a quick breakdown of this command. The echo command basically prints whatever you have written here on the screen. The minus n basically removes any trailing new lines if there are any, and this operator is known as the pipe operator. And what this does is it takes in the output of this command right here, that is the string hello, and gives it to this command as an input. And this command basically converts whatever input it gets to hex. So if I hit enter, then well, there it is, the word hello in hex. And yes, it matches the one we just found. So now where it is used. This hex encoding is commonly used to represent binary data in plain text. A binary data may contain a lot of non-readable characters which cannot be represented in plain text. So to represent them, we can use the hex encoding. For example, an image may contain a lot of non-readable characters. Like I have this image right here, that's the Google logo, and I have this terminal opened in this folder. If I do this, the cat command basically reads out the contents of this file and prints it on the screen. If I hit enter, then, well, these question marks, as you can see, are the non-readable characters. And, well, I cannot copy it or do anything from it because it is completely non-readable. So what I can do is, I will cat it and I'll convert this to hex. Well, after converting, as you can see, there are no non-readable characters. Each and every one of this character is readable. So if I needed to send this to someone, I can easily do it. So this was all for hex encoding. Let's move on to a second type of encoding called base 64 encoding. Well, from the name, it would be clear that since hex was base 16 and it used 16 characters, decimal was base 10 and it used 10 characters. So base 64 uses 64 characters. That is the letters capital A to capital Z, small a to small z, the numbers 0 to 9, plus, and the slash. Let's see how we can convert a string to base 64. I'll first type out our cat set right here. Okay, so this method of conversion is a bit lengthy, so we'll use a shorter string hey for this. So the first thing which you need to do to convert this is take the first three characters of the string. Our string contains only three characters, so we'll take the entire string. The next thing what we'll do is we need to convert this string to binary. Binary is another encoding of the base 2 as it has only two symbols 0 and 1. I'll use an online site to convert this string to binary online. I'll use the first link. Okay, this is my string in binary. Remove these spaces. The next thing which we need to do is we'll make pairs of 6 from starting from the leftmost side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6. If there would be, let's say, only 4 here and we would not have made 6, then we'll just append zeros at the right of it. Anyways, so after doing this, we'll convert each of this decimal binary numbers to decimal. I'll again use an online site for that. Online. Uh, the first it's 26, then this one is 6, this is 21, this is 57. Okay. So the next thing which we need to do is the first one was 26. So from this character set, we need to pick out the 26th character. Note that this is the 0th character. That is, A is the 0th, B is first, C is second, and so on. So that would give me, this would be our 26th character, as this is 26 and this is 27. But since it starts from 0, this one will be 26. So the first would be A. Then the sixth character 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's G. Then the 21st, this was 26, so 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, that's V. And 57, this one would be 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 50, 57, that's 5. So this is my text hey in base 64. Well, again, you don't need to do this manually. You can use your terminal. I'll do echo. Well, this is the same thing which we found. Yes, this was the same. So this is how you can convert text into base 64. Also, you can reverse it as well. I'll copy this. Well, see, I got my string back. Hey. Now, similar to hex encoding, this can be used to represent binary data in plain text. It is very useful when we need to transfer data through some medium which accepts only ASCII plain text. Like, let's say we have a messaging platform which can send only text data, but we need to send an image to someone. How do we do that? We can first convert that image to base 64 and then send it to that person, who will then decode it to get the original image. For this, let's go back to our Google logo. I'll convert it to base 64 first. Uh, what this operator does is it basically takes the output of this command and then writes it into this file. I'll hit enter. Okay, this is my file and this is the base 64 text. Now I need to convert this base 64 text back to my image. So what I can do for that? I can use my browser. I'll write data image slash png as it was a png file. Then I'll type a semicolon base 64 comma and the string. Now if I hit enter, well, the browser renders this string to an image. Well, to be it more clear, I'll make a tiny URL for this and I'll share this link with you guys now. I'll enter this. I'll make a tiny URL. I'll send this link in the chat box, and what I need you guys to do is open that link and then see if this image comes to you or not. And if it does, please type in yes or something in the chat box. Okay. Okay, Himanshu. So, well, this was the way. Like, like this is the link I have, and let's say if I open this link, then I'll get this image. So I shared my image with you guys, but I didn't even send you the image. I just used this base64 string. So this is how we can send an image using basic, like this is how base64 encoding is used basically. So now let's move on to the next part, hashing. Hashing is a one-way function which maps an input of arbitrary length to an output of fixed length. And hashing is irreversible. You cannot reverse it. Like, let's say this mixer grinder is the hash function, and you have some fruits. These are input. You give these fruits to this hash function, and it outputs you the fruit juice. Now, well, there is no way in which you can get these fruits back from this output. Or and let's say if I give you a lot of fruits, like a mixture of fruits, then you can't even tell what fruits were used to make this juice. Well, of course, unless you have unless you have really good taste buds. But anyways, I'm not considering that. So in a similar fashion, let's say f is my hash function, and if I give it the input a, then it will give me some hash h1, and if I give it the input p, then it will give me let's say another hash h2, and this string can be of any length, but the length of the hash will be constant for each of these strings. Okay, we'll see two common types of hashes here, MD5 and SHA-256. Let's convert this text hello to MD5 first. I'll use my terminal for this. I'll do echo hello and MD5 sum to convert this to MD5. Well, this is my text in MD5. And for SHA-256, I'll just use SHA-256 sum. This is my text in SHA-256. No, note that the length of a particular kind of hash is constant. Like even if I converted some other string to MD5, the length of this string, this hash, and this hash will be the same. But another hash may have different length. Like this hash is different from this hash, so they both have different lengths. But two MD5s will always have the same length. Moving on, hashes are used to store passwords and verifying a file's identity. Like, let's say you have a login page, a login website, let's say Facebook, for example. Whenever you create an account on Facebook, does Facebook store your password in plain text? No, it doesn't, because that would cause really big security issues. So what it does is, like Facebook has a hash function, and what it does is it takes in your password, converts it into hash, and then stores this hash. And then whenever you enter your password on the login page, it converts the text you have entered to hash, like it uses this hash function, and then check if that hash and this one matches. And if they do, then Facebook knows that your password is correct and it locks you in. Similarly, as we just saw, like while catting this image file, what is an image? What is a file? It is just a collection of bytes. So you can convert the file to hash as well. Like if I do md5 sum download.png, this is basically the hash of my file. So how can it be used to verify a file's identity? Like let's say you need to send a file to your friend. C. But to send it, you need the file has to pass through to another person B, whom you don't trust. Like he may add a virus or corrupt the file or something. So what you can do is you will send the file as well as its hash to the person C. Now the person C, when he'll receive the file, he'll find out its hash again, hash by C, and then he'll check if these two match or not. And if they don't, then he can know that someone has tampered with the file in the in between. So this is how you can basically verify a file's identity using hash. Now salt. Now, as I said, that websites just store your hash, and like when they enter, they convert to text to hash and then check if they match. But now here there is a problem. What if I had a lot of texts? Like I had a word list, basically a collection of a lot of words, and one of those words is my password. Let's say I have a word A, B, C, D, E, and my password was actually C. So now when I entered there, like when I use the hash function on A, I'll get some hash. I'll use it on B, I'll get another hash. I'll use it on C, I'll get another hash, and so on. So, like when this one, and when I do this and I get a hash, then these two hashes will match, this one and this one. And in this way, I can know that what is the text for this hash. Like in a way, that's hash cracking. So to prevent this, salts are used. Now, what is a salt? Salt is a random string that is added to the input either in the beginning or the end to get different hash for the same input. Like normally, if I had a text A and I convert it into hash, then I got HA, let's say. If I had B, I'll get HB. But every time I convert A to hash, I will always get HA. Now, what salt does is, like, let's say I give it an input ABC. So the salt will append some random string here, like let's say 929, 9289. It can be text also. I'm just taking numbers. So now this will give some hash. Let's say HX. Now I give it the input ABC once again. Now what will happen? Again, some random text will be added to the beginning, like, but since it is random, it will be completely different from what earlier was added. So these two strings will now be two different strings, even though I have given the same input ABC. So this will hash to something entirely different, HY, let's say. So now this method won't work because even if I enter the correct text, I will get a different hash, and which won't match with the one stored here. So this method prevents dictionary attacks. Moving on, hash cracking. How can we crack a hash? Well, like I just said, the method for hash cracking is basically having a word list and then converting each of them to hash and seeing which ones match. I'll give you a quick demo of this. I'll open my Linux terminal and we have the username Viper here. And what I'll do is we'll try to crack the password of this user. In Linux, the passwords are stored in this file at shadow. Look, here it is. This is my user and this is the hash of my user. So the first method for hash cracking is we need to find out what type of hash this is. Let's search. To do that, you can go to a website, hashcat example. Oh, hashcat is, by the way, a tool which we'll be using for cracking the hash. My hash started with $6. Okay. This website isn't opening. Okay, this website is not opening for some reason. Do I have it in here? Okay, never mind. I have hashcat here. I'll open my Linux terminal in this. Hashcat.exe. I hope this works. Okay. You can also type in your command hash the hashcat binary and then minus minus example minus hashes, and it will show you each and every hash which it has. Like this is MD5 and so on. Uh, Now look at this hash, this SHA-512 crypt. This starts with $6, and this matches the one which we have. So this must be our hash. And I need you to guys to note this number 1800. We'll need it. Okay. So now let's crack this hash. I'll first copy this hash and I'll save it in this file. I'll open my terminal once again. I'll use hashcat. This is the command which we'll be using for cracking the hash. I'll give it a -m, and then I'll give the type of hash. Note that this was the number which we just found. Like this will tell hashcat what type of hash we're going to crack. Then -a0 means that we'll be using a dictionary attack for this. Then I'll give it the path of my hash, and then I'll give it the word list. A rocku.txt is a really famous word list which contains millions of passwords, like millions of already cracked passwords. So we'll be using that for this. I'll hit enter. I'll wait, and well, this hash was cracked, and you can see the password of my Linux user was password 123. So this was how you can crack hashes. And also this tells you that you should not keep your passwords as simple as that, because doesn't take it doesn't even take a minute to crack this. Well, that was all from my side. Now I'll be handing over the stream to Arijit for the next part.
Good evening, everyone. I am Arijit Guha. Today I am going to talk about steganography, which is basically ways to transmit data. So, uh, what is steganography? It is the practice of concealing secrets in the digital world, which is very useful for transmission of secret data and keeping them safe from third parties, which is basically the hackers. So, let us understand this definition with the help of an example. So, we consider two persons, Alice and Bob. Uh, Now Alice wants to send some secret message to Bob, and she is quite aware of the hackers. So she wants to share her secret to Bob safely without the hacker knowing about it. One way she can do that is with the help of steganography. So basically, what she can do is that she can use something as cover, which may be an PNG image or a JPG image or maybe an audio file, and then she can embed her secret inside this cover. And after embedding and secrets, a file will be created, which is basically a steganographic object. Okay, then she can transfer her file to Bob, and the hacker will only see the cover. He will not be able to see the secret. So once the file reaches Bob, he will just extract it and get the secret. So this way, Alice can safely share her secret. So this is what we basically do in steganography. Now let us move on to the types of steganography. So first of all, steganography is quite different from cryptography, so don't confuse them. And now, depending upon the nature of the cover, steganography is divided into four categories, as you can see here. Now, if they use a PNG image or a JPG image, then we call that as image steganography. If they use a audio file like a MP3 file or a WAV file, then it's audio steganography. And same applies for text and network steganography. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to talk about a widely used steganographic method known as the LSB steganography. So before diving into this technique, let's know what is LSB. So if anyone knows about it, please write plus plus in the chat box. I'm waiting for your response. So I guess no one knows about LSB. So basically, LSB is the rightmost bit in the binary representation of a number. Uh, for example, if we consider 149 and convert it into binary, then it will be 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 1. Now here the rightmost one in red is the LSB, while the one in blue is the MSB. Okay, which is basically the counterpart, that is the most significant bit. Okay, now since in today's session we will be taking an image as cover, so we ought to know more about images, right? So what are images made up of? Pixels, right? Images are made up of pixels, which are the smallest unit in an image. Now each pixel consists of three channels: red, blue, and green. Each of these channels are represented as a whole number from 0 to 255, and we can combine these whole numbers which then represent various colors. For example, if we take R as red as 255, green as 255, and blue as 0, then it will represent a yellow color. On the other hand, if we take red as 0, green as 128, and blue as 0, then it will represent green color. Let's see this visually. Okay, so what I will is that I will just search RGB color picker, and now let me just paste the values of red, blue, and green here. So 255 comma 255 comma 0, and here this left side shows us the color. Here you can see that this is a yellow colored, right? Now if I change this to 0 comma 128 comma 0, now this is a green color, as I told you. So mm, now each of these pixels can be uh, represented in binary form. You can see the pixel photo here. I have drawn a pixel photo, and you see that if I take red as 100, it can be represented in binary form as 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0. And what we basically do in LSB is that we change the rightmost bit here and store our data or our secret. So let's take an example and understand this. So I have two pixels here. So I am taking a character A. Okay, capital. So can anyone of you write the ASCII value of A in the chat box? Mm, can anyone write the ASCII value of capital A? Yeah, Raj Gautam, you are correct, absolutely correct. It's 65. So I am also telling that in case if you don't know the ASCII value of any character, then just Google search ASCII chart and you can see the ASCII table here. And here you will get the ASCII value of all the characters. Okay, so you don't need to memorize them. Now ASCII value of A is 65. So if I convert this into binary, it will be like 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. Now you can see this is a 8-bit number, right? So since we are storing 1 bit in every channel of the pixel, thus we need 2 pixels for storing a 8-bit data. Uh, we will store 4-bit in one pixel and another 4-bit in the other pixel. So how can we store this? So to store this, we can simply change the blue channel here, that is the last bit of the blue channel, from 0 to 1, and the last bit of the alpha channel here from 0 to 1. Now you can see that the first 4 bits here and the first 4 bits in the binary representation of A are exactly the same, right? The same is true for the last 4 bits. These last 4 bits and these last 4 bits are exactly the same. Okay, pardon my handwriting if it's too bad. Uh, so this is what we can do. This is actually I have explained this theoretically. So now how we apply this practically? So to apply this practically, we will be using a quite powerful tool, that is quite powerful language, that is Python. So in Python, what we are first using is a string. So we are first taking a string. Let us take a string and give it the name y. Uh, let's take the hello string. And now I am taking a list and naming it as x. And what I will store in this list is the MSV values which we want to change to, right? So let us say we want to change to 1, comma 0, comma 1, comma 0, comma 1. Right? There are four characters, so we will change the last bit of these 4 characters, 5 characters. Sorry. So here you can see. Right. Now let us take another list y, and in this list, what we will do is that we store the ASCII values of all the string, all the characters in the string hello. So let us type y here, and we can simply store that by using the list function in Python. So this list will have the ASCII values of all the characters in the string hello. So let us print that out, and here you can see, right? The ASCII value of 104, I mean the ASCII value of H is 104, the ASCII value of E is 101. Okay. Uh, now uh, let us first change the LSB of one character. So let us first take 101 and see its binary representation. So for that you can use the bin, which will show you the binary representation of 101. Here is the binary representation of 101. Okay. So you can see that the last bit is 1, and now we want to change this last bit to 0, right? So how can we do that? We can simply do that by adding 0 and then right shifting 101 by 1. This is the right shift operator in Python. Okay, this is the right shift operator, and then left shifting this by 1. So let's see this binary representation now. Here you can see that the 1, that is the LSB, has now changed to 0, right? So if anyone knows about right shift operator and left shift operator, please plus plus in the right plus plus in the chat box, and if you don't know, then please write no. If if anyone doesn't know about right shift and left shift, then please write no in the chat box. Okay, so left shift and right shift operator are something like this. Like for example, the binary representation of 101 is 10001 right? Now if I right shift this 101 by 1, then what we will get? This whole binary number, just right shift one digits, right? And here you can see that the one has got removed. The same is true for the left shift operator. If I left shift this whole thing now, then you can see that the string has left shifted to one places and a zero gets added at the last. So this is what the left shift and the right shift operator are. You can also left shift and right shift by 2, 3. So like this. Like if I right shift by 2, then it will move right by 2 places. Right here you can see. Right. That firstly, the 2 places, that is 0 and 1, got removed. Right. So now we applied this principle of LSB for one character. Now how can we apply this for the whole list? So for that, I will be using two iterators, I and j. Okay, so I will be using iterator I and an iterator j. So what I will be doing is something like this. For I comma j, shift x comma y. So let's see what I have done. So I have taken two iterators I and j and the zip function. So what is the zip function does? The zip function in Python basically takes two or more iterators, then performs something and then joins, then returns the output. Okay. For example, in this case, this I operator iterates to this list in x and the j operator iterates to this list in y, and then they perform this function, and then it returns the output. So let's return the output now. Yeah, right. So here you can see the character 104 changed to 105, the character 101 changed to 100. Now one question might rise in your head, that why we are only changing the LSB, right? And why not the MSB? So to see that, let's change the MSB of the string. So MSB of the string hello. So how can we change the MSB? So we can change the MSB by left shifting this I by 7. So if I left shift this by 7, then it will go to the position of the MSB. That is the most significant bit. Oops. Uh, then what I can do is that I can use the AND operator. And AND this by 63. So AND is another bitwise operator in Python, just like left shift and right shift. Then I can use this for loop for I comma j. Right. So this will change the MSB of these characters. So now if I return the value, you can see the changes, right? Like 104 had changed to 105 when we had changed the LSB. Now if we had changed the MSB, then it changed to 168. So there's a huge difference between that, right? Like 104 changed to 168, 101 changed to 37, 108 changed to 172. So can you understand that what I am trying to say, that why we changed the LSB and not the MSB? So now we can apply this. Now we can apply the same concept for an image. So let's apply this for an image, and to apply this for an image, I have written a Python script here. This hide message.py. What does this script does is that this stores this message, welcome to Infosec Cyber Labs, in the first row of the pixels. In the first row of the pixels. Okay. And here I am changing the LSB. Okay. While on the other hand, you can see that I have written another Python script named msb.py. Here I am storing another message. It's in the first row of the pixels, just like the previous one. But here I am changing the MSB. Okay. So let us run the scripts. So we can run Python script in Linux by just typing Python and then the name of the script or the code. So here you can see that I have also printed the values of the pixels before and after. Okay. So that it's easy for you to understand the effects. So this is the LSB script. Here I am running the MSB script. Okay. So Python MSB Python. This is my MSB script. Now let's move on to the pixel 0, 0. So before its value was 255, 255, 255. In case of the LSB script, it changed to 254, 255, and 254. So that's not a huge change. On the other hand, in case of the msb.py, it changed to 63, 191, and 63. So this is a huge change. So this will have effects on the color of the pixel, right? So let us see what effect it will have on the color of the pixel. So for that, I am again using RGB color picker. Now let's first put in here 255, 255, 255, which was the initial value of the pixel before any sort of change. So now I change the LSB and it changed to 254, 255, and 254. Let's copy this value and paste it here. You can see that if visually you can't see any change, right? If we change the LSB. On the other hand, let us copy and paste the MSB values. So copy and I will paste it. Here you can see that the white pixel changed into green. So there's a huge difference, and visually you can see the change. Now, what effect this will have on our image? So let us view the images. So let me view the initial image first. So I can use the UG, which is image viewer in Linux. So let us view this. So this was our initial image. Now let us see the image in which we changed the LSBs. So here you can see if you zoom in, you can't see any change in the first row of the pixels, right? On the other hand, if you see the MSB image, here you can see. If you zoom in and see the first row of pixels, it got completely distorted. And you can see this strip of colors, right, in the pixel. If you so that's the change that occurs. So now we don't need to use Python every time. We have some tools like Solve and Steg Online, which makes the job easy for us. So, what is TechSolve? TechSolve is a tool which analyzes an image in different channels by taking off bits of the image. And Steg Online is basically an online version of the TechSolve. So, let's open this image with the help of TechSolve. So, let us open that image. So, here now I'll open that. Here you can see. So here you can see the plane in which the image is currently, and here by clicking here you can change the plane. This is the inversion plane. So now if I move on in different planes, this is the red plane. Now here you can see in red plane 2 we can see that we have hidden something, right? So this is quite different from our initial image, right? So if we just move on, here you can see that we have stored another image inside this image. So basically what we can do is that we can also store multiple images inside an image, and no one will get to know about it, right? uh, unless you are an expert. So now steganographic tools are widely used by hackers in phishing people or to deliver some malware. So steganalysis is an important skill, and finding files that have been modified to steganography is always a challenge. And okay, that's all for my part. Now my friend Shreyansh will continue on the session.
Now we have reached the end of the first session of Infosec Cyber Labs. Thank you all for attending the session today. Hope you all enjoyed it. A feedback form will be available in the live chat and also in the Discord server. We request you to please give your feedback in it. Even if you don't have anything to say, just go and give us a rating. It will help us come with more awesome content in the next session, which is on 4th of February. Now the session is open to doubts. You can put your doubts in the live chat and we'll answer them. No, Amey, you're not going to receive any certificates for this. But yeah, you will gain a lot of information from these.
Guys, if you have any doubts, you can put them in the chat box. We'll be replying to them.
Yeah, Pankaj, we have chosen Moodle because you guys have access to it. We don't want any sophomores to be spamming it. That's why. Yeah, news about recruitment will be there in the Discord server soon. Just join it. We'll be announcing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you don't need to learn Python, I guess, at this moment, but you have to learn later on. Hmm. You have to learn Python later on. It will be very helpful.
Yes, Raj. Yes.
So many people had doubts regarding WSL in this session. So you don't need to worry about Linux or WSL and how to install them. We will be informing you. We'll be sharing the resources to you in the later on sessions.
What you don't need to learn Python or anything right now. Like the only thing which you all need to do right now is just go to the server and start solving the OSWAP and Unixit which we have made for you right now, and you'll get enough.
Adityan, yeah, you can start as soon as possible. It's your wish. And it's not Unix bit, it's Unix it.
The Wargames, Unixit, and OSWAP will help you build basics about Linux and website hacking. So they'll be essential. And You can try like you can start solving them.
I hope you guys enjoyed the session. We'll be taking down your doubts for another 2 minutes and then we'll be ending this.
What do you mean, Himanshu? Which type of field? I mean, guys, the next session will be on 4th of February, so make sure to join it. We have awesome stuff planned, and make sure that you fill the feedback form. We need some feedback, man.
Anshuk Maji, what do you mean by what should I do?
Yes, Hemant. Yeah, it is an emerging field, and with the onset of things like blockchain, cryptography is also on the rise. And with cloud computing coming in this scene, and with cloud computing coming into the scene, we have a lot of stuff like cloud security and other stuff. So yeah, it's a really emerging field. Okay, guys, so we'll end the stream now. If you have any more doubts, you can come to the Discord server and join the stage. We'll be there asking, answering your doubts. And let's see you on the next session. Bye, guys.